So me and Mondo were actually in the car having an intimate conversation. We are talking about our life. We were actually reflecting of how far we have come, right? We're like, wow, babe, this is crazy. We've come a long ways. Like, look what you have done. Look what you built. And look at what I have done. Look what I built. This is crazy. We were going back and forth. And then your girl got emotional. I was like, why am I so emotional? Is it because I'm PMSing? Like, why? Why am I emotional? And then something touched my heart. And it took me back to that girl, to that teenager. And I've never really talked about this before. And I'm so excited to actually talk about this because I don't really think people really talk about these type of things. And people are always very private, or you don't want to feel judged. For me, I don't care. If this can help somebody at this very moment, girl, take it. Like, whatever is going to come out from here, I just hope it does help somebody. Maybe you felt this way before. But one thing that I always get asked is, Carlene, how are you so confident? The reality is that it's not that I was born with it. Maybe she's born with it. No, I was not born with this confidence, okay? So back to my story of what actually went through the conversation in the car. So we were just talking to each other. We're just like, wow, babe, you've done this, you've done that. And I said, I've done this, I've done that. And I said, you know where I learned this at, babe? I learned this in my business class because I was pissed. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I didn't land there by accident. It was on purpose. And so I was taken aback that my senior year was actually the most depressing year for me. And as I was telling him, I was like, babe, but let me take you back. I said, for a very long time, I was never the girl to get straight A's. I was never able to finish a book. I literally struggled so much in school that my grades were C's, D's, and F's. And my mom would always tell me, Carlene, like, what's up with your grades? And my teachers would be like, Carlene, what's up with your grades? Like, what is up? Why you're not doing your work? And the thing is that for a very long time, I was so afraid to do something because I was afraid of failing. Every time I tried, I would always fail. Every time I tried to do a homework assignment, it was so hard for me that I'm like, man, what is this whole point for, right? So every time I tried and I tried and I tried even to pay attention, I was the one that I was get sent to the office because, girl, I was talking a lot and I'm still talking a lot. But for a very long time, I felt misunderstood. And I said, I need to change this because I'm tired of people not hearing me. Like, I really do need help. I'm trying my best. And I remember there was this one teacher and he's like, Carlene, like, what is going on? And I said, mister, it's just like, it's just hard for me. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, look, I'm trying my best. Like, he goes, you're a smart girl. You're a smart girl. You can make this happen. And I remember my 5th grade teacher too, Miss Wilkes. She was amazing. She always inspired me too. She told me that I can make this happen, that I was smart and this and that, right? But during high school, I remember I was having a hard time. And I said, God, like, I just need your help. Like, it's hard. I want to be able to have like good grades and things like that. So my freshman year, this is like, we're learning who's like new people, right? You're meeting new friends. And I made a decision in high school to hang out with people that wanted to learn. I wanted to hang out with people that had good intentions because my vision for my future was very important to me. Because I was so used to being known for the girl with the broken home, the girl with the broken stuff, the girl that didn't have it enough or whatever, During this time, like, I was known for that. So in high school, I wanted to be something different. So I chose my friends wisely. I started hanging out with amazing seniors for my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, started hanging out with other friends. And I love the group of friends that I actually chose because they were so positive. They were just so helpful. And shout out to Crystal Santos, Maria Santos. Hey, girls. They were so amazing. These women, because they're women now, these amazing women, they were really focused on their education in high school. And they were always pushing me. They were always motivating me. They were helping me left and right. And they didn't know what I was going through. I never really told them because I was embarrassed to tell them exactly what I was struggling with. Because I would be like, hey, Crystal, are we all going to do homework? So when we would get together and try to do homework together, it was just like, I would look at them and they're like, don't copy, Carlene. I need you to try. And I was like, I'm not copying, but I was trying to understand how their whole, like how I needed to do the homework because I didn't understand. For a very long time, I just felt like I wasn't good enough. The teachers would try to explain things to me and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, why don't I get it? Am I dumb or something? And the crazy part, I started to believe that I was. I started to believe that I was dumb because in a Mexican household, girl, you know how that goes, right? In a Mexican household, if you don't know how to do something, automatically they call you names. How many of you guys feel that way? Girl, this was me, okay? My mom called me a P word. She called me every freaking name possible. When I couldn't get something, she's like, oh, eres una tonta, eres una this, eres that. And I'm like, oh, girl. So as a young kid, you start believing these lies, right? So every time I would try to do homework or try to do something, I'm like, why can't I get it? Why can't I finish a book? Like, I don't get it. So even in class, I'm like, why can't I pay attention? So I started to believe that I was not smart. I started to believe those lies until one day I asked, you know what? What happens if I do my best? And I remember I would watch drill team, people in sports and stuff like that. And I remember asking the teachers like, hey, what do I got to do to be in drill team or cheerleading? And they're like, you have to have at least a 2.0. And I said, whoa, just a 2.0. And I was like, man, I could barely get a 1.8. And I said, okay. And I remember during that time, I just wanted to find something as an escape because I was dealing with so much in my first 4 years of high school. My first 3 years of high school, I was dealing with my traumatic past and I just needed an escape, okay? So during that time, I remember I just needed something just to break free. And because nobody knew what I was going through. So imagine feeling so helpless, feeling so lonely. And I'm just like, I just need something. So I remember I got so inspired by drill team, the dance team ever. It was just like an amazing dance team. And I love to dance, girl. Your girl loves to dance, okay? And I remember going to the tryouts. And I was like, I'm just going to do this. I just got to find something that's going to help me. That's just, I'm going to do my best. And I remember so like vividly, I remember trying so hard to raise my grade because I had like a 1.5, girl, or 1 point something. I had a 1 point something, okay? It wasn't not even close to 2.0. But I remember just telling my teachers, what do I have to do to raise my grade into 2.0? And I remember I did whatever it took. I asked my friends for help. They helped me. I was like, guys, I want to join the drill team. Can you guys help me? And I was just so dedicated to get my grade into a 2.0 so I can qualify to try out. And even if I made the team, girl, I was going to be in drill team, right? And I remember challenging myself. I said, Carlene, you are not dumb. I remember talking to myself, Carlene, you are not dumb. You can do this. If you can get a 1.5, you're just a few points away to get a 2.0. Carlene, you can do this. And I remember just watching the drill team and I was like, that's me. I can do that. And you would hear the other voice like, no, you can't. Remember your background. Look, you're stupid. You're dumb. You can't even get your good grades. And I said, no, I can do this. And during that time, I was dealing with so much pain that I said, I'm not going to focus on the pain as pain. I'm going to focus that I can make this happen. So I was working my butt off, girl. Working my butt off. And then finally I did tryouts and it was the most amazing thing. I was consistent. I was structured, and I was disciplined. And when I knew that I had control of that, and we get our report cards, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? Girl, when I tell you that I got my report card and I tried it out, I had a 2.0. And I made the drill team. And it was something so crazy to me. And I was like, whoa, it was like a massive receipt to me, right? I was like, if I can accomplish that, I can accomplish anything. But I was still dealing with trauma and everything. For me, it wasn't the accomplishment. I was trying to run away from pain. So I did whatever I could to get that freedom for me. And I remember I worked so hard just so I wouldn't be dealing with that pain. I worked so hard to get a 2.0. I worked so hard because I didn't want to feel pain. I wanted to feel what it was like to feel joy, at least for a little bit. And I remember being so proud and be like, Carlene, you see this? You did this. And if we can do this, we can do more. And it started to get very addicting to actually do stuff and I just wanted to be the best. I wanted to hang out with the right people. I wanted to make sure that my conversations were not conversations that were going to lead me to failure or anything like that. Like, I didn't want to surround myself with people who were going to bring me down because I didn't want to feel pain anymore. I started to hang out with the girls that were uplifting, the girls that had the amazing homes, the amazing parents, and I had friends that were so positive that they were working towards their future because I knew what that brokenness felt like all the time. I was trying to escape the trauma. I was trying to escape that type of lifestyle, and no judgment, but I just wanted to know what it felt like to be something different or to be surrounded by something different. So that's why I always strived for the best. And I got made fun of for a lot of these things. But for me, I was like, I don't care. I know what that feels like with pain. And I remember in high school, some people would just like ditch school and, making bad choices, smoking, drinking. And I didn't want to be part of that. I chose my friends. Like, I was like, I'm going to hang out with you. If you make me better, like, I want to hang out with you. Like, I want to know what that feels like. So every day I'm so grateful to God that he sent me those girls. Like, those girls have no idea how much they've helped me. Those girls don't even know how much like they meant a lot to me. And during that time in high school, I was selling like candy. I was doing so much, but every time, because I was raised by a single mom, my mom was working so hard and working so much and, making ends meet and everything like that. My friends, we would always go to the mall every Friday. And these girls, when I didn't have enough, they always took care of me. They always pitched in. They always made sure that they always covered me when I could. And, I had the best, amazing friends. And like I said, I'm so grateful for them, for Maria, for Crystal. They've always been like, these girls mean a lot to me. And that's why it's so important to choose your friends. Choose your friends wisely, okay? Choose your circle wisely. So I remember I didn't understand why it was so hard for me, but I did figure something that was helping me like with school and things like that, right? So I remember during that really hard time of my life, now came the senior year. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened during like once our 11th year, summertime came around, there was tryouts again. And I remember the teacher, I had made a comment about something. Mind you, I'm a kid. I don't know. I had made a comment to my teacher about something. And she was the one that was in charge of the drill team, the dance team and everything. I think I had made a comment and maybe it was an offensive comment to her. I don't remember. But I remember she stopped liking me. And as we were doing tryouts again, once again, I got my grades into 2.0. I was pushing and pushing and pushing, to the point that I had made a comment, guys, okay? Something very like, okay, this is my second time trying out. And she said that I didn't make it. I was like, Miss, I'm not even going to say her name. Miss, but can I please try? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, Carlene, you just didn't make it. I was like, what do you mean I didn't make it? I have the grades. I worked really hard to get there. And this is the only thing that's going to save me. I was like, please, miss, I really, really need this. Girl, I prayed. I cried to her. I said, please let me be here. Please let me be part of the team again. Please. I'm so sorry if I said anything to offend you. I'm so sorry. Like, please. And she said no. And I prayed. I said, God, please. Like, and sure enough, she's like, no, you can't be in drill team. And I said, it's fair. If I said something to hurt you or to like make you feel some type of way, it is what it is. And I remember being so broken because this was actually helping me do better in school. And then I remember being so depressed. I'm like, wow, I'm going to my senior year. Like, I'm going to be watching these girls. And now this teacher's telling me I can't even join, even though I was part of the drill team again. I raised my grades. I was like, this sucks. This freaking sucks. And I was dealing with my trauma. I was dealing with the pain. I was dealing with something I needed to find an outlet. And I had no idea what it was. And I remember going to this deep, deep depression. And then all of a sudden, my mom goes, Carlene, we are moving. I was like, I don't know what this is. Is this my answered prayer? Is this like maybe God is removing? I remember thinking that. I was like, wow, thank you. I was so grateful that I moved, but I was sad at the same time because I was leaving all my friends behind. And because I'm like, this is my senior year. Mom, how are you moving me my senior year, my last year of high school? And like, but then this is why you got to trust God, guys. You have to trust God, okay? That time I didn't understand, girl. I was in high school, okay? So my mom moves us to Palmdale. And I started going to Little Rock High School. And she's signing me up, right? She's signing me up. And then all of a sudden, as she's signing me up, they're like, oh, she can't go here. Mind you, I'm depressed. I'm sad. I miss my friends. We're like an hour and something away from, I went to Eagle Rock High School. Now I'm all the way in Palmdale. Eagle Rock High School is actually in Eagle Rock. And I was like, oh my God, what do you mean they can't let me go? So there was a different district. Eagle Rock was LA district. And it was LA district, or something happened along the way that they had said that my credits did not match their credits. So I had to start going to a continuation school. Hear me out. I'm sad. I'm broken. I'm depressed. Now I'm like, oh my God, I didn't make the drill team. Now here's somebody else telling me you can't even go to regular high school because you don't have enough credits. You don't qualify to be here. Girl, I was like, Mom, this sucks. I remember going home and crying, girl. I was like, ¿por qué me están haciendo eso? Like, why are they doing this to me? And I was like, wow, am I being punished? Like, what's going on? And now I'm a little bit more depressed. Number one, I have no friends over there. I have nothing, right? And so I started to go to a continuation school. And I remember I was being determined. They said, okay, she can go into a continuation school, but if she can make up the credits, she can actually go here. I said, okay, game on, girl, because I'm not trying to go to no continuation school. I want to graduate on stage, and I just want to make my mom proud, and I want to accomplish something. And so I started to go to a continuation school. I started to go to school. And then sure enough, I think I want to say within a month, I went to the high school. Once again, I have no friends. I'm still dealing with depression. I'm still dealing with a lot. And I'm just like, I'm just going to make the best out of it. I'm so grateful I accomplished it. But I'm going to go to high school. And I remember going to high school and again, feeling alone, but I still felt good because I've accomplished something. Because I was not going to let anybody tell me that I was not qualified. I was like, don't challenge me, girl. Don't challenge me because I don't even think you guys know who you're talking to. So when that challenge came, I said, no, I'm not going to allow anybody to dictate what I could do, what I can and can't do. And so little Carlene, she was getting feisty, guys. This little Carlene was a fighter because she got tired of being pulled away from things that she wanted to do or people telling her that she wasn't qualified enough, right? So during that time, finally, I'm at school and then in my classes, and then I ended up choosing a class that I think they had it was open and stuff, right? Like an elective. And they said, oh, you can choose your classes. What would you like? And I was like, what do you mean? So there was a dance class and things like that, right? But you had to actually audition for the dance class. So I said, well, I guess I can't join the dance team. They already have their team and everything like that. So I said, okay, what can I do? And all of a sudden they're like, oh, you just have to go to this class because everything's already filled. I said, okay, understandable. They put me in a business class. And that business class was the biggest blessing of my life. And it's pretty crazy because that's why I got emotional with the conversation I was having with Mondo, because I remember people telling me no. And when I was taking this business class and I started to learn about business and how business actually works, I started to get excited. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And in that class, my role was I was a PR specialist, but I also helped with marketing. Okay. And I was also dating the CEO of the company. Literally, I was dating the CEO of the company in her class and in real life. And I remember saying, this is my life. This is what I want to do. So I started to study business, and I really loved the business aspect, how, you can be your own boss and you can do this and you can do that and nobody can tell you anything, right? And I was like, I like that. So I remember every Friday we had to dress up. And girl, every Friday, and people made fun of me for this, every Friday I was wearing my skirt, I was wearing my dress shirt, and I was wearing my dress heels, okay? And during that time too, I remember getting a job because I wasn't doing anything else, and I needed to make extra money because I was already thinking like a businesswoman, right? But I needed to make money because in high school in Eagle Rock, I was selling candy, but I wasn't really selling candy in Little Rock because it was just a little different. It was a different vibe and stuff, and it was weird. So I said, let me just get a job. So I ended up getting a job, and my first job was I was working at Denny's. Okay. And I was just determined to get a job. So in high school, I remember learning about business and things like that. So my brain was like, this is awesome. So you're telling me that you can do X, Y, and Z, and nobody tells you what to do. Nobody can determine if you're right or wrong. And I just started to consume the business. And I remember in that school year, in order for you to graduate, get this, in order for you to graduate, you had to do a senior project. Mind you, people have been working on their senior project since freshman year. I had no idea what the hell was a senior project, okay? I'm new here. I came from a continuation school. Now I'm like, what is going on? Now there's another challenge. And I said, this is freaking crazy. And so I got pulled into the office, and they said, unfortunately, you can graduate, but you just can't walk on stage. And I said, come again? They said, unfortunately, you can graduate, but you cannot walk on stage. Girl, when that teacher told me that, or I think the principal, whatever it was, when they told me that, I was already dealing with so much, and I'm like, really? This is crazy. More? Wow, it doesn't end here. It really broke me. It broke me again. I was like, wow, why is this happening to me again? I was excited. I'm doing the school. I finally find something that really excites me. I really find something that makes me better. Like, why? And they said, because you couldn't do the senior project, you didn't have enough time, or whatever it is. I'm like, you guys can make an like, I just moved here. Like, this is new to me. Everybody else had time. And so I can't walk on stage. And really, I'm like, the whole point is for me to walk on stage. The reason why I work so hard into that continuation school, so I can come here, so I can walk on stage and to make my mom proud. That's all I want to give my mom is my diploma. They're like, you can still have the diploma, but you just can't walk on stage. I was like, so I won't get a chance to wear my cap and gown? And they said, no. And I remember going back to my business class. And I started to ditch all the other classes. I wasn't going to math. I wasn't going to English. I was just going to my business class. And I remember people saying like, oh, by the way, I ended up breaking up with the CEO. I ended up breaking up with him like towards the end of the school year. So it was just me. I was like a literally lone wolf. Like, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't have enough time to make enough friends. I knew people here and there, but not that much to make friends like with girls or things like that. And so I remember I was just ditching class. And there was like a little student store there. And I was just sneaking into the student store. And I remember the lady, she was super nice. She would allow me to be there. She's like, why are you not trying? I said, for what? For what? What's the whole point? The whole point was for me to graduate and walk on stage and to like accomplish something. She's like, I know, but why can't you just do it so you can at least get your diploma? I was like, that's the thing. So I was telling her, I'm like, the only class that I'm showing up to is the business class, because I'm not going to let anybody tell me I'm not going to let anybody tell me what I can or I don't deserve or what I do deserve. I'm not going to allow anybody to tell me that. So I'm going to learn everything about business because one day I'm going to have my own business. And one day I'm going to determine what I want in life. And no one's going to tell me what I can or can't do. Whether I have ADHD or not. I'm not going to let anybody tell me that. I'm not going to allow anybody, again, over and over again, decide what's good for me. So I'm going to study the shit out of business. Because if you're studying business, I remember reading books. I remember just studying. I was just so fascinated about business and the freedom that you can have and knowing that, wow, I can change people's lives. I can do this. I can do that. It was fascinating for me, but it gave me that hunger, that push. I was like, this is crazy. This is what I want to do. I want to build a business. And I even told my teacher, Ms. Mahongos, one day I'm going to have a business. One day I'm going to be successful. One day you're going to watch me, Ms. Mahongos. One day that's going to be me. And I remember her telling me, like, well, if you don't get your GED you don't get your high school diploma, we'll see about that. I was like, I don't need a high school diploma. I don't need a piece of paper to determine if I'm going to be successful or not. I get to decide that in God himself. I remember going home and just crying. I said, God, I know one day I'm going to be successful. And I'm going to work hard. And I'm going to do everything possible to get there. Because I'm not going to allow anybody anymore tell me what I could do and what I can't do. Or what I'm capable of or what I'm not capable of. Like, I'm not going to allow anybody to determine that for me. Only you can decide that for me. And I remember just being in, I was just so hungry and motivated. I remember being at Denny's and this gentleman comes in and they're all talking about like, they're all dressed up. And I saw him and he was dressed up with his team. And it's how God works. God is so amazing, so beautiful. And all of a sudden, this man comes in and they're just dressed up and I see these people, they're all dressed up. I was like, wow. I like their outfits. I like it. And though they were talking, and then all of a sudden he goes, hey, how old are you? I was like, I'm 17, about to be 18 soon, about to graduate high school. And he's like, oh, my name is Abel Sierra. And this is what we do. And he was talking about life insurance. He was talking about home loans and, how they help people build wealth and everything. So he's talking about finance. He's a financial advisor. And I said, yeah. He goes, come to one of my meetings. Come to one of my meetings, come to one of my seminar things. And I was like, sure. So I ended up going and it ended up being like Primerica and stuff. And I remember just watching everybody with their business outfit and things like that, right? And just getting so inspired. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be part of a business, but not necessarily do this, but I want to do something that's going to help people. And I remember looking at that and just getting so inspired. So I remember in school, now going back, I was going to high school and then I was learning about the business and I was working my Denny's job. Crazy. And I would see the people that come in. Well, finally, it was the last day of school and people were graduating. And I remember I told my teacher, I was like, Miss, that's it. I'm just going to give up on school. I'm going to be a business owner and this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let anybody stop me. And a piece of paper doesn't determine my future. It doesn't determine if I'm going to be successful or not. I get to determine that. And I dropped out of school. So my last day of high school, when everybody was walking, graduation day, everybody was coming to Denny's and I was working the cash register. And I was seeing some of the people that were in my class coming to Denny's and just eating and see the families gathering together. Everybody's graduating. And I just remember being so broken. I remember just telling my mom and my mom being so disappointed in me, being so disappointed because she's like, damn, like you're my only daughter. And that's all I wanted, all that hard work and sacrifice that I did for you. And that's how you're going to pay me. You're just going to quit on school. I said, no, Mom, I didn't quit on school. The school quit on me. I said, but Mom, I promise you one day I'm going to be successful. One day I'm going to make something out of it. Trust me, Mom, you don't need a diploma. Just trust me, Mom. And she's like, yeah, but I didn't get a chance to see you walk. And I said, Mom, don't worry about that. One day you're going to see me on bigger stages. One day. I said, one day you're going to be proud of me. I promise I'll make it up to you. And just telling myself that. And so going back to the conversation of why it was so emotional for me to have that conversation with Mondo, and why I got emotional, because at that very moment we're reflecting on everything. It took me back to that young girl. And I was like, damn, girl, we didn't give up. Even after everything was happening to us, we didn't give up. You did keep your promise to yourself. You are walking on stages. Your mom is proud of you, despite of what anybody said about you. You did not let anything hold you back. So when people always ask me, what keeps you so confident and motivated? I said, the promise that I made myself. Because I was not going to allow anybody dictate my future. I was not going to allow anybody to take my power away from me. Whether I got slapped down, tossed around, whatever it is, life dragged me left and right, I was going to keep fighting till my last freaking breath. I don't know who's going to watch this video, but if you're dealing with something right now, you probably feel like a failure. You probably feel like you're not good enough. Let me remind you, you are worth everything. Don't let other people take your power away from you. God gave you that power for a reason. You have what it takes. Look at my proof. This girl that came from a lot of struggle, a lot of trauma in her life, doesn't even have her high school diploma. Look what I have built, the impact that I've done in this world. Because I did not allow the noise to be louder than God's purpose for me. So I want you to really try your best. Don't give up. Keep going despite of everything. You keep going. If you believe something so much in your heart, do it. Do it, my friend. Trust me, it turns out amazing. Don't worry about how it's going to work out. Don't worry about what people are going to think. Who gives a shit? Just do it. And I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. You lived your life, your whole life, saying yes to people. You lived your whole life believing what people thought about you. Whether it was bad, good, whatever. You lived your whole life stopping yourself because of that one thing that somebody told you, that you were not good enough. So I'm here to remind you, when you see yourself in the mirror, you are good enough. You are good enough, my friend. Don't let anything or anybody stop you. Don't let anybody take away the power that God gave you. And I just want to say I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you for not giving up, for still trying, or maybe even like, you know what, maybe should I pursue this? Pursue it. Do it. Whether you look cringe, whether you look funny for people, whether people are over here judging you, who gives a shit? Just do it. Because you have no idea the impact that your story or the vision that God gave you is going to help somebody else. And because I was obedient and because I listened and I didn't give anything else my power, I have been able to help women that were feeling stuck, women that dealt with trauma, women that dealt with a lot of self-doubt in their lives, pain. I have helped them in so many ways, inspire them by finally believing in themselves. So today was a reminder of that no matter what happens in life, whether you're dealing with ADHD, whether you're dealing with things that somebody tells you can't do this, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, God created you powerful. God created you special. and you serve a greater purpose in life. So, just wanted to share a little story, and I hope this video does something for you. And if it doesn't, cool. If it does, it does. And I just want to tell you that I love you so much, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you for having a conversation here with me. But, oh, girl, I got a little emotional there. A little emotional, too much emotion. But it's good emotions because I feel freaking amazing, guys. And you guys are probably wondering, well, did you ever go back to get a GED? Yes, I did. I actually did go back to get my GED just to make my mom happy. And I did it. You know, I was grateful for it. And I did it when I was like 20 something years old or 21. But I did it. I still accomplished it because I said, no, what ifs? I don't like to live my life with what ifs. And I did it, but it still didn't do anything for me. I mean, it was an accomplishment, but I did it for my mom. But I knew I didn't need it. So, Ms. Mahongos, hello, look who I am. I was even telling Mondo, I was like, maybe I should go see if she's still teaching so I can show up and be like, what's up, girlfriend? Remember me, Carlene Shido? I told you don't forget my name because I will show you what I'm going to become. So, Ms. Mahongos, you were wrong, Miss Teacher, okay, because I am successful. I look what I've done, Miss Mahongos. So I'm actually going to go look. I'm going to go see if she's still teaching. I mean, it's been years, girl, years. So I hope she is still teaching. Maybe she already retired. I don't know. But she was crazy. She was a cool teacher. But I hope this story inspires you. I hope this actually pushes you to keep going. And if you can actually relate with this, let me know. And if maybe you've been dealing with something, or maybe you're just like, Carly, you know, how do I get out of it, girl? I have a community that I built to help women like myself and women like you. I have the Strongfident Lounge, and there's so many ways that you can actually connect with me. So I'm going to go ahead and add the link down here below where you guys can connect with me and be part of the community of just women like you who are wanting to become confident, who know that they have what it takes, and you just need a community with friends. Girl, come join us. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, and don't forget that you guys are Strongfident.